welcome to all of you to this short orientation on National Rural Livelihood Mission. I am Shivaji Chaudhary, and I am going to talk about one of the most important aspects and elements of the National Rural Livelihood Mission, one of its most important components, institution building and capacity building. So let me first begin with giving you a brief overview of what this session is going to entail. It's going to be around 10 to 12 minutes in which I would want to speak and I want you to understand majorly four areas which are being flashed over here for your convenience. These are A, yes, I would want you to understand what is IBCV all about. B, I would want you to understand the basic strategy, basic spirit behind IBCV. C, I would want you to understand the community structure that IBCV or NRLM wants to put in place so that the overall objective, overall goal of NRLM is achieved. And finally, which is more important for all the administrators in the district and the block, I would want to talk to you about the monitoring mechanism as to how do we monitor the progress of the whole mission as it is being implemented in Tripura. So let me just give a brief introduction about myself. I have been in this sector for the last 20 years. I've worked for organizations like Pradhan, I've worked for CSR entities like Mozabear, FICCI, mostly in senior and middle level management positions. And I've also worked for Digital Green, which is involved in agriculture extension. So that has been my full-time engagement in the last 20 years. Apart from this, now the next question comes in is what am I doing in this training on NRLM? So my association with NRLM goes back around 6 years, since 2014. I've been associated with NRLM as a national resource person, or which is more commonly known as an NRP. Yeah, so as a national resource person for institution building and capacity building theme. And most of my engagements have been with the states in the northeast. So Tripura, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Arunachal, I've been engaged with them very closely as they have taken the first steps towards building these new community-led entities and community-led interventions. So NRLM has given me a unique opportunity to be involved with youngsters who were actually doing the nuts and bolts of the National Rural Livelihood Mission, which is forming groups, bringing together women, skilling them in terms of how to run their groups, how to conduct meetings, how to keep their accounts, and then bringing them together, mobilizing them into the village organizations, and then finally bringing them together as a cluster level federation. So I've actually seen youngsters and young teams in the field, struggling through their days and, starting from zero, and today, like in Tripura, have reached a stage where they have got CLFs or cluster level federations, which, everyone who visits them have got a word of praise for those kind of federations. So this has been my professional background. As far as my education background goes, I'm a social work graduate from Jamia Millia Islamia in Delhi. I've also done my English honors. Yeah. So as you can make out from the background picture, the picture behind me, that this theme of IBCV has got to do a lot about how to form groups, how to nurture groups, self-help groups, how to form and mobilize women into higher order entities like village level federations, and then going on to form cluster level federations. So just to begin on this topic of IBCV, one of the major things that the NRLM tries to do is facilitate a very unique journey of the poor woman. This journey is from being a beneficiary to being a member to finally being an owner. Yeah, you can have a look at the visual which is coming in front of you just beside me. Is that you can see this three-staged journey. First, as a beneficiary, when the poor woman acts and behaves as a beneficiary, she's very dependent on the government functionary. She is looking for help. Then comes the stage when she gains certain skills and starts behaving as a member. She knows her rights, she knows her responsibilities, she knows her roles as a member of a SHG, as a member of a VO, or as a member of a CLF. And finally, you get to the point where the woman actually reaches the stage of a owner. There, she not only understands what her roles and responsibilities are, but she also starts acting in a very sensitive manner. She's sensitive to her own needs as well as sensitive to the needs of the other people around her. She is sensitive to the challenges that her community faces, her group faces, and she is ready to take up the initiative in addressing those challenges, whether it is health issues, whether it is education related issues, whether it is livelihood related issues. The action she understands is totally hers, and that is what is meant by agency. Her agency, her understanding that to bring about change in my life, I have to work, that gets enhanced when she starts feeling, when she enters this last stage. So this is what NRLM tries to do, and it does it through a very standardized set of trainings that is given not just to the women but also to the people who are actually going there and training them, and also a very huge emphasis on how we engage with the women. That is another area of focus of NRLM. So one, how do we engage? Two, how do we mentor and monitor the program? Three, how do we prepare the women to do this journey from being a beneficiary to a member to an owner? So this is the general approach that NRLM has, if I were to put it in a nutshell. You can see this 3-tier system which I have been talking about, and this is basically the community architecture that NRLM promotes. At the base, you have the primary level organization called the self-help group. आप लोगों को सब पता ही है सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप क्या होता है, मैं फिर भी एक बार दोहरा देता हूँ. दिस इज़ एन एफिनिटी ग्रुप ऑफ वुमेन फ्रॉम कंटिग्यूअस एरियाज. क्योंकि जितने आसपास रहेंगे उतना एक दूसरे के बारे में उनको जानकारी होगी और एक दूसरे के लेंडिंग और डिसीशंस में एक दूसरे को मदद कर सकेंगे. सो अ स्मॉल एफिनिटी ग्रुप ऑफ कंटिग्यूअस वुमेन जो रेगुलरली बैठते हैं, हर हफ्ते बैठते हैं, बचत करते हैं, और उसी बचत में कुछ देर बाद वो आपस में लेनी देनी शुरू करते हैं. फिर ग्रेजुअली जब उनका कॉर्पस बढ़ता है तो बैंक से लोन भी लेते हैं, लेके अपने मेंबर्स को और लोन देते हैं, जिससे कि वो अपनी जीविका को और ताकतवर बना सके, अपने एक अच्छा जीवन जीने के लिए उनको एक अच्छा मौका मिल सके. सो ये है एसएचजी. कुछ समय बाद जब एसएचजी अच्छे से अपना काम करने लगता है तो ये पाया जाता है आमतौर पे कि सिर्फ एसएचजी तक सीमित रहने से महिलाओं की सारी या समाज की सारी इश्यूज़ का, सारी समस्याओं, सारी चुनौतियों का समाधान नहीं हो सकता है. उस चीज़ को एड्रेस करने के लिए कम्स द नेक्स्ट लेवल ऑफ कम्युनिटी बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, विच इन त्रिपुरा इट इज़ कॉल्ड द विलेज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. और विलेज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैसे बनता है? बेसिकली हर एसएचजी में, आपके यहाँ पाड़ा होता है, पाड़ा या अपने ग्राम के एसएचजी, हर एक एसएचजी में से दो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स वो चुनते हैं और हर महीने बैठक के लिए भेजते हैं. अपने एसएचजी के प्रोग्रेस के बारे में वो जाके वहाँ बताते हैं, दूसरे एसएचजीज के प्रोग्रेस के बारे में जानते हैं, एक दूसरे को फीडबैक देते हैं. वीओ इसी तरीके से मॉनिटर करता है अपने एसएचजी की क्वालिटी को, कि एसएचजी सही से चल रहा है कि नहीं चल रहा है, कुछ दिक्कत तो नहीं आ रही, दिक्कत आ रही तो कैसे उसको एक दूसरे से सीख के उसका समाधान कर सकते हैं. वीओ एक अच्छा माध्यम है आपके गांव के जो पीआरआईज है, पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशन, उनके साथ तालमेल मिलाने के लिए भी वीओ का ही जिम्मेदारी है. तो वीओ किस चीज़ में पीआरआई को एसएचजी के संगठन की मदद की ज़रूरत पड़ सकती है, कहाँ पर पीआरआई से हमको यानी एसएचजी की महिलाओं को मदद की ज़रूरत है. वीओ से ऊपर जब हम देखते हैं तो इस पूरे अरेंजमेंट के चरम पे बैठा हुआ है सीएलएफ. कैसे बनता है? ऑफ कोर्स जिस तरीके से एसएचजी से दो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स आई हैं, उसी तरीके से वीओ से भी, हर एक वीओ से दो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स चुना जाता है, उनको भेजा जाता है क्लस्टर लेवल फेडरेशन में अपने अपने विलेज या अपने अपने गांव का प्रतिनिधित्व करने के लिए. और इस पे भी वीओ सीएलएफ का भी बहुत हद तक एक कॉमन रोल है वीओ जैसा, कि वो अपने मेंबर वीओज़ का परफॉर्मेंस ज़रूर एसेस करती है कि सही तरीके से काम कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है. इसके साथ साथ जो एसएचजीज़ को अच्छे से चलने के लिए जो सेवाओं की ज़रूरत है, द सर्विसेज दैट दे रिक्वायर, फॉर एग्जांपल ऑडिट, फॉर एग्जांपल ट्रेनिंग, समय पे ट्रेनिंग मिलना और अच्छी क्वालिटी की ट्रेनिंग मिलना बहुत ज़रूरी है एक एसएचजी के लिए. ये सुनिश्चित करने का जो जिम्मेदारी है वो सीएलएफ है, ये इस तरीके के सर्विसेज. और ये जो सर्विसेज जो देंगे, यानी हमारी जो कम्युनिटी कैडर है, जो इस तरीके के सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स जो कम्युनिटी में से ही सिलेक्ट करके ली गई हैं, उनको सीएलएफ के अंदर ही हाउस किया जाता है. मतलब वो सीएलएफ के स्टाफ होते हैं. एक और जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है सीएलएफ का, वो ये है कि जो कम्युनिटी इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड है, जो एनआरएलएम हर स्टेट में हर एसएचजी को देती है, हर एसएचजी के लिए ईयरमार्क किया हुआ है, वो सीएलएफ लोन के हिसाब से ग्रुप्स को देता है. सो वो लोन देना और समय पे लोन वीओ के अप्रूवल के साथ सही समय पे लोन देना, वो भी एक सीएलएफ का इम्पॉर्टेंट, बहुत ज़रूरी, महत्वपूर्ण जिम्मेदारी है. सो ये जो आप देख रहे हैं, आप मेरे साथ बने स्क्रीन में देख सकते हैं कि ये तीनों ये बने हुए हैं, जो तीनों स्तर बने हुए हैं, सारे स्टेजेस बने हुए हैं और उसके साथ उनके फंक्शंस भी लिखे हुए हैं। इसके बारे में एक डिटेल्ड PDF है जो कि इसी मैसेज के साथ हम दीपायन विल शेयर विथ यू। सो आप उसको ज़रा अच्छे से पढ़ लीजिएगा। उसमें बहुत अच्छे से क्लियरली डोमेन्स मार्क की हुई है कि हमारे SHG की क्या जिम्मेदारी है, what is the responsibility of our village organization, and what are the responsibilities of the CLA. So the last and final segment of my presentation deals with the most important questions that most administrator or social welfare managers face. How do I monitor the progress? How do I check whether the ship that we are sailing in is in the right course or not? Is there any or some course correction which is required, or we are right on course to achieve our goals? So the important and existential question, what do we monitor? So as far as NRLM goes, as far as specifically speaking TRLM goes or Tripura Rural Livelihood Mission goes, to check the progress of the institutions, there are 2 or 3 processes. The first process is done, which is called the RF grading. RF stands for the revolving fund. So whenever the revolving fund is given, it is given only after doing a grading of the institution. Now there are lots of financial and non-financial parameters which are used to do that grading. Only when a particular grade is achieved, the group is actually eligible to get the revolving fund. A similar process is done when the CIF is also given. So there is a grading which is done just before the CIF is disbursed, and the CIF disbursal is contingent on the fact whether a particular grade has been achieved or not. Again, there is a combination of financial and non-financial indicators in the CIF grading. The third thing that TRLM has in its place, and NRLM also in all other states, is that every year there are this kind of grading happens twice a year. So twice in a year this kind of grading happens, so that as administrators or as people who are trying to facilitate change, social change and economic change, you can ensure what is the basic quality of our groups. There are 5 more indicators that I would want, I would request you as administrators to look at, which will tell you the health in a snapshot of your institutions. These are 5 indicators. One is the meeting regularity of the institution. SHG, if it's the SHG, is the SHG's meeting regularity. The second one is the attendance regularity. The third one is the savings regularity. The fourth one is the interest repayment rate. Of course, we have to see whether the interest is being paid on time and according to plan or not. And finally, principal repayment rate. So these 5 indicators, when put together, will give you a clear-cut idea whether how your institutions are performing. Interestingly, in Tripura, especially in the resource blocks, there is an elaborate system of getting this very same data from the group to the VLO, or the VO, the village organization, because it is one of the mandates of the village organization to monitor these groups. So there is already an existing system which Tripura is using. It will be good to actually understand and replicate that in your respective districts, and ensure that your teams do that. Now this has got a twofold advantage. One, as an administrative architecture, it gives you a clear-cut information. Two, your community architecture also gets in the habit of using the very same data. So this is what is a smart thing to do as far as indicators go in understanding the health of the institutions. Apart from this, I'm sure Dipayan will be sharing with you a larger list of indicators which you can use to regularly monitor the performance of your respective teams in the block. So I think this much is enough for this video. I'll be more than happy to respond to your queries that you might have on whatever I have presented. And if there are anything beyond, I might have missed out on some elements which you would be curious about, I would request you to put forward those queries, and I'd be most happy to respond to those queries. Thank you.